right? And then, of course, there's the NFL stories. Now, they're not as weird, but they're interesting, right? Interesting that they're making all these moves. Would you say we learned a little something from the XFL?
Yeah. I mean, just based on that kickoff rule, right?
Little something, right?
The NFL has decided to adopt. Now, when you think about rule changes in sports, Danny, we always agree that it's the common sentiment for everyone to hate it at first, right?
Like any change.
Yeah.
You get a new
most people don't like anything they're not used to.
New iPhone update. You're like, I hate Apple. Actually, it ended up being okay. I think this is the first time there's been a rule change that everyone's like, oh, cool. Because was anyone really happy with 80%? I felt like it was like 80% of the time it was just a lame touchback like through the end zone.
Yeah. Felt like a waste of time.
So with that said, the fact that the offense is going to be lining up on the other side of the 50, no one could really move until the guy catches the ball. Roger Goodell talked about it.
I think it'll be a big improvement. I think it will bring the play back into, a relevant play, an important play, and an exciting play. And I think we can do it where the injury rate hopefully will drop.
Now, the hip drop tackle, that rule has a lot of people saying, like, well, how the hell are you going to tackle someone? That's the one where no one seems to be in agreement. But
I had people up in arms yesterday. People were man at arms yesterday, angry and upset. Current players, former players. What is this, flag football? You even brought up in our pre-show meeting, do you think we'll ever get to the point where it is flag football?
It's possible.
I mean, the ban on the no hip drop tackle caused some controversy, and then this one we think we could get behind. We agree with this one. But again, it goes back to what Rich said. Nobody likes change at all anyway. Nobody likes to make those adjustments. It's the COVINO and Rich cell phone update theory. Anytime there's a new update on your cell phone, you hate it. You hate it. But 2 weeks into it, you're like, you know what? It's better. And most of the time it is.
It is. Honestly.
Most of the time, you get used to it either way.
Very rarely is there an update where you're like, I like the old way better.
Remember how mad you were when they took away the button on your cell phone? I didn't have a cell phone at the time, but I remember Rich was like devastated. What am I going to do now?
That's when you were Android boy.
I was Android boy, yeah.
Before that, they took the headphone jack away, remember?
Yeah, and everybody hates it.
What?
Phone. And then what happens? You make your adjustment, you're mad about it for a few days, and then you forget all about the previous way, and you move on, you move forward, and you realize, you know what? This wasn't so bad. But it might even be better.
I think, am I wrong that, then again, I haven't really listened to anyone else today. I've been in my own thoughts. But you've been
glued on Diddy updates.
I have. You know what? I'm really so disinterested. I feel like all along so many people are creepos and we're just sadly learning about it.
No.
I think many people, for the most part, are like, yeah, this kickoff thing could be fun. Do you know anyone that's really fighting it? Like,
not this one.
I want a traditional touchback most of the time.
Yesterday, everybody was mad about the no hip drop tackle thing. Today, I'm calling it the XFL kickoff.
Let's do it.
I mean, that's what I'm going with right now. I don't think anyone's as mad about it.
Now, the hip drop tackle has
the hip hop, the hip drop, hippity hip drop.
It's got people mad. In fact, I just saw a meme as I was getting ready to do the show. It said, well, let's go back to Super Bowl 34. Do you remember when the Tennessee Titans came within inches of tying the St. Louis, at the time, Rams? That was a hip drop tackle that prevented him from getting in the end zone. So they said if that was now, it would be penalty, end of regulation, but the Titans would have had one play from the 1 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy when you think about it. It's a big play. Goodell talked about that. The hip drop tackle.
Listen, it's a play that has a 20 times injury factor. For that standpoint, you can't allow that. We've been very, I think, effective and very clear when we see a technique that we think is going to increase the safety of our players. We're going to work to try to remove it from the game.
So,
hey, man, of course the owners are going to vote for this. They're trying to keep their players healthy.
Yeah, listen, mixed reviews on the hip drop. I think all positive reviews on the new kickoff rules. I think it just makes it more exciting, right? Who doesn't want to see some special teams, some speed, some guys making moves? Like, honestly, is there...
I think it's a push, Rich. I think for everybody angry about yesterday's updates, you have to realize it's for the safety of the players. But then you get today's update announcement, and you're like, all right, whatever, it's a push.
That's fun. You know, The one thing they've yet to address. Now, they've flirted with the idea of some weird, like, hey, if you want an onside kick, do like 4th and 20 from your territory. What about just going back to the old school onside kick? The new onside kick has made it virtually impossible for that play to be effective at all. I'm surprised that hasn't been resolved. But mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews. But again, that's just the nature of the beast. That's just how people operate. People hate anything new. People hate change. And like I said, total push based on the fact that no one's really hating on the XFL kickoff. Again, the kickoff return, the receiver, once he catches it, that's when everybody gets to run. He has to catch it first.
He's basically standing in a zone alone.
Alone. And then when it lands or he catches it, that's when people could run.
Unfreeze.
Exactly.
You're going to see the special teams kick returner be more of a key position now.
Yeah, we could see another Devin Hester finally.
I was just going to say how guys like that must feel when they see these updates.
Or
I
wonder if there's going to be guys that want to do a little double duty. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Niners fan, but Debo has done some kickoff and punt return coverage over the last couple of years. What if you get a guy like Debo that's like, yo, I'm designed for this. If they can't move until I catch the ball, I'm going to bust through those zones. There's guys, I mean, what if a DK Metcalf
guys with
says
super speed that have a few more seconds to get it going, they really benefit from this.
What if a guy,
a Metcalf
with speed like a Tyreek Hill or strength like a
Tyreek
DK
Hill.
Metcalf? What if some of these elite wide receivers are like, well, if that's the case, if I'm going to receive the ball and then have pretty much a few yard head start before people start tackling me?
More action, more scoring. No one's complaining about that.
You could say you're not going to put your receiver in that position, but in key spots you might. All right, and the third one. Christmas Day is going to be on a Wednesday, which is sort of weird, right? Because think about, if you're already thinking about when you're going to take off work with your company.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Like Christmas Eve's on a Tuesday? Christmas on a Wednesday?
Christmas on a hump day?
It's honestly like the weakest, like, is that week a wash? Like, do you take 2 days off?
Yeah, hold on. Let me think about this. So 2 games, Wednesday, hump day. It's a religious holiday. You're going to be getting your hump on this hump night? So, yeah, how do you balance that out? Do you take off before or after? I think after.
I don't think anyone works anyway. But they talked about the 2 games that they decided to have on Christmas Day.
Let's hear it.
Well, I think the days are the same for us. We've done this. COVID, it was actually a learning opportunity. I think it was the first time we played on a Wednesday. It will not be a regular thing. It'll be when Christmas falls on a Wednesday. But the time period between games has been done before.
Listen, I don't see why they wouldn't do it. The NBA has done well on Christmas. When the NFL has had these opportunities, usually when it's been on a Saturday or Sunday and they do Christmas games, ratings are huge. Everyone's home. Everyone's with friends and family.
Yeah, it's fine.
And the NFL does trump the NBA.
You said Trump. He's also in the news.
Why would...
Told you, it's a weird week.
Why...
It's a mess.
...would anyone say no to NFL football on Christmas Day?
No, you're lounging around. You're lounging around picking up
Danny G,
wrapping paper remnants all day.
Little Co is ripping open his Cocoa Melon toys and then,
walking around stepping on Legos. Relax and watch some football.
We know he's not going to be playing with the toys. He's going to be playing with the cardboard box it came in.
It's true.
You know you're going to be
used
doing
to
that. You're going to be laying down, getting into the game.
Daddy's napping.
And then your kids or your wife are going to be like,
Bro.
we need batteries for the toy.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to go out for batteries and you're going to miss the game. That's what happens.
It's a new one. Our generation, instead of going out for smokes, going out for batteries.
Going out for we forgot. Santa forgot the batteries. Now you got to go out and get them, and you're gonna miss half the game on Christmas Day.
Dude, the more sports, the better on a holiday.
No, for sure. You're gonna be lounging around being lazy. That's great. Enjoy some eggnog. Enjoy some football.
I love it. So hey, NFL constantly innovating, constantly making fun changes.
They really are, though, right?
And
you think that it's a product that's not broke, so don't fix it.
I don't think
they keep making adjustments. And
I don't think they're pushing it too much here because sometimes you do get the sense of
no
like,
hip
all
drop
right,
tackle definitely has some eyebrows raised.
Are you? A lot of times people will be like, "Are you pushing your luck here?" I don't think
that might be a whammy right there. I don't know yet.
I think the Wednesday games are good. The kickoff is good. Yo, Dan Byer, what says you? The The guy that's been reporting this
Yeah,
all day.
it's been the talk of the town all day.
It has been. That happens with the NFL because we're all talking, trying to figure out the kickoff rule and what will happen. I think everybody's going to love, let's just not waste 10 seconds of our time and kick it through the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Because I think that is gone. I have no idea on how it's going to appear. I do like the likelihood of more runbacks. The Christmas Day stuff, I think we're just all getting accustomed to it. I think now we put our hands up in the air and love to sound so righteous, but on Christmas Day, when we're done unwrapping presents, we're going to be like, all right, let's turn on the NFL game.
Listen, if you got kids,
By the way, you
even
know
if you
what, though?
don't, Christmas to me
There is a downside, though.
Christmas
because that's
starts-
the one day you're supposed to put the phone down.
No, get outta here.
Forget about the game.
not true. Movies
enjoy
come
the
out.
family. Enjoy a
Movies
Christmas
come out
Enjoy a
on-
Christmas movie.
No, but they come
Sit
out
around
in the theater.
fireplace. Now you're going to be glued to the TV instead of helping your kid put his toy together.
Dude, if you thought Christmas was a day that people didn't do anything, then movies wouldn't historically come out on Christmas
Yeah, but
Day.
you watched them as a family.
In the
I hate
theater?
to break the news to you, Rich. Your little kid, Ben,
Yeah.
doesn't care that much about the 49ers.
What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying.
He loves the
He just wants you to play with him on Christmas.
Get out of here.
He wants to, have your attention on the holiday. So there is that if you really want to dive into it.
Yeah, Dan, no one's really said anything, so I don't have some outrageous take. But if you do these new kickoff rules, which they will, and
yeah, I like that one.
guy receives the ball, then everyone could essentially play ball, right? Like you move when the guy receives the kickoff.
Yep.
Why won't teams use elite, strong, fast guys like a DK Metcalf on your team, or a Debo, or someone with Tyreek Hill speed? Like, I don't think you're going to have maybe the traditional kickoff return guys there.
Yeah,
because
it changes special team.
I think
specialists and
I think if we see
players,
if this is an opportunity, Dan, for teams to maybe get the ball to 35-40 if they have a good return team,
Yes.
you might get some of these guys out there.
I think on the surface, although I would not be willing to subject Tyreek Hill
I know
or
that.
DK Metcalf or, Debo's a different animal, but like I wouldn't take like your prime guy to be like, hey, maybe we can make something happen because it's not a scripted play. You don't know where they're going to kick it, so it's not like you can set it up. I don't know if I would want Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson to be in any scrums or piles, which you could get in this sort of setup. I don't have a lot of experience on how this is going to play out. I'm just glad we just get rid of the automatic boots through the end zone.
Yeah,
like this, it's
You're
a
right.
different way. And
that's the snooze part of the game.
yeah,
All you do, because you know that's the time you can get up and get a drink or something. Because
Yeah.
all you do, you're going to see the ball go through the end zone, and you watch the quarterback trot out to the field, and it's possibly a timeout.
I think there's a huge difference between the 25 and the 30-yard line, and that's where you would get the football if you booted it out of the end zone. The team would get it at the 30-yard line.
I think this is the best adjustment since taking the uprights out of the end zone.
Yes.
That drove me. I never made sense to
Football
me.
Follies took a hit though because they had no clips of guys, crotching the upright.
CFL still has their.
Yeah, but as a kid, that always baffled me, though. I'm like, why were they?
When were you?
hazard,
when were you
you know?
a kid in the early
No, when
mid
you would-
1900s?
When you would see the highlights from
know.
it. By the way, and not to dumb it down, but I'm good at that, Rich. I'm calling it the XFL kickoff rule.
Yeah.
Isn't that how we played, like two-hand touch back in the day? Wasn't that kind of how you did it in your backyard or playground when you were sticking or kicking?
Like when the guy caught it,
Yeah.
that's when you could get him.
Isn't that? I feel like that's what we
You're
sort of
right.
did,
we
right?
froze until the guy caught the ball.
You know, when you said that, like freeze, it just made me think
why
of kid
you
stuff.
why are you calling it the XFL? You should call it Covino's backyard rule.
It kind of is like a backyard rule because when you're thinking about it, when you're playing two-hand
Oh look, they're
touch,
showing it right now.
or when you're playing tackle football, you would. I mean, sometimes kids would kick it, but if you had a good arm, someone would throw it, right? You didn't really run until that ball landed or someone caught it. That's kind of how I thought about it. But it worked in the XFL. I remember when we talked about the XFL rules, we said that was one that they could adopt. And I think that one will work. Your thoughts, your phone calls, you want to chime in? Are you mad about the changes?
Here, I wonder though. With that, sorry to interrupt. Steve, are we going to get more touchdowns? Because if you break that line, you're gone. And a lot of times you could have, hey, let's chase him down at the 50 because of the way that it was set up.
Yeah,
It's
now
only
you
a 40.
can't.
Now, if you break through and you only have the kicker to beat, like that will be something that will be interesting to see too. If you've got more opportunities for kickoff returns.
Which DB, which is why it's that cost, benefit ratio of do you put an elite guy out there because you could get if after week 3 you're getting a couple kickoffs a week returned, or at least to the midfield.
Rich, I think we'll see some teams do that when they're trailing late. Probably not the start of games, but in a crunch time moment, I bet you that's when we'll see.
Danny, I'm not saying Devontae Adams is going to be out there every time for you, but if the Raiders need some momentum,
but I like
or
that
their
'cause
speed guy like Tucker.
It changes strategy a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And you're not going to want to take the chance throughout the game for injury reasons,
Exactly.
like Dan Byer said. Yeah, that's probably how it's going to work out. So I find that to be interesting from a strategy standpoint and just a scoring standpoint.
Strategy.
I said that on purpose.
Good callback there.
Strategy. Well, you know what? I'm glad all this NFL news came down because the only other NFL news today was sort of bumming me out, and it was that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be anyone's vice president. So, we at least got some good NFL news today, right?